Hey guys, hello, here we are. It's Chat with Matt. It is the 10th of July 2019. I'm 2 minutes late. Hey, welcome. Holy goodness, I've only just opened up my computer and there's like a whole heap of messages and stuff. So let's get rid of all of that. And then let's find our way to the Mantara public page so I can see if anyone wrote in a question. So we've got 30 minutes together, my friends. I'm very, very happy to dance with whatever comes up. Very, very happy to answer whatever. Oh my goodness, look at that. I'm completely free. No one's written in anything ahead of time, so that's always dangerous. What do you want to know about? What's going on? Who's in charge? Hey, Sister Lena, how are you? She's watching. Oh, I see. That's Facebook telling me that you're watching, and you also wrote hi. So, what have I got to announce? I've got lots of important things, important for me anyway. I've got lots of interesting and exciting stuff to tell you about. I've just taken a big step yesterday and pushed myself forward when I really didn't want to. I was going to hang off till October to launch the second phase or the second wave or the second intake for my, what am I calling it? The Bright Light Client Attraction Process Program course, whatever word I use on the end of it. But I'm now going to do it in August, probably this first week of August, end of the first week of August. So that's pretty exciting. So I've got to giddy up with that. And I'm also, in that vein, choosing to discount Bali. So if you're keen to come to Bali, I've just knocked 20% off the price for everyone. If you're in my deeper group, I've knocked even more off. So if you're interested in that, check it out. You can go to my website, mantara.nz, and have a look, or you can just write to me and go, hey, I'm interested in Bali. It's going to be awesome. How can I join? How can I get there? And I will fill you in. And if you need to have a talk about it or whatever, then I'm happy to schedule a call as well. So in the Bali retreat, we're going to be working with the Bright Light Attraction framework, which is a really awesome way of attracting your best life to you, using that same framework in the Bright Light Client Attraction to help bring your most aligned clients to you. If you are a facilitator or a coach or some sort of other heart-based service provider who works with clientele, then that course is going to be fantastic for you because it really helps you to connect into who you are and to shine or to radiate that out, so it attracts naturally to you the people who are really aligned with you, who are the best people to work with. When we go to Bali, we're going to be using that same framework to help people just attract their best life to them. So attracting allies and collaborators and soulmates and good friends and mentors and situations, jobs, opportunities, all of that stuff, but bringing it in from a real place of authenticity. Because rather than mentally trying to search out what you want, you just send out your vibration and allow it to come to you. Yeah, you still need to take external actions, of course, but it's not so, it happens more naturally when you align with and really become your natural vibration. Things happen more easily when you get in that flow. And for that to happen, generally, you need some help. Most of us need some help to lubricate and release the old energies that are holding us stuck in the personas, in the patterns, in the fears and all of the rest of it. Hey, Sister Emily Rose, how are you? I'm open for questions, so I'm basically just ranting while I wait for someone to write something in. Have you got a question, Sister Robin?
Not
yet. So Sister Robin's here with me in this very same room. She's come home from after yoga class. So that's exciting. That's a first for Chat with Matt. A live participant in the same room. She has requested not to be on camera though, so I won't do that. But we can also always take a question from that corner of the room. But I'm open to anyone else who's watching right now to write something in, because otherwise I'll have to keep ranting on my own, which could be entertaining for you, but potentially is harder work for me. So yeah, two big exciting things, discounting the Bali retreat and going to launch second phase, second wave, second intake for the Bright Light Client Attraction process. I like calling it a process more than a program, because program sounds like you've been programmed, and it's not really a course. It is this course-like. It's probably the most course-like thing I've ever made. In fact, because the information there is a lot more structured and more organized than anything I've done before. But still, at its roots, it's more of an energetic facilitation than an intellectual education, right? There's intellectual education there, of course. There's a lot of emphasis. I'll use that word on actually doing the do. There's encouragement. That's what there is, more than emphasis. There's encouragement to actually get out there and do the practices, to actually make changes in your life. But most importantly, it's an energetic shift, right? And it's a assisted energetic transformation that occurs when you make the investment. Your higher self and Mantara get to work to really help you move through your stuff. Because basically the process of transformation is just a process of purification. It's all more or less about letting go of what you are not. Because inherently you already are what you are. You don't need to find that. You just need to uncover it. You don't need to create it. You don't need to activate it, really. I know we talk about doing activations, but all really an activation is the uncovering of it so that it's more present in your life. And so that's it, right? It's just a matter of getting some help and some encouragement to move through the process. And it is a process, right? It's not that we can just click our fingers and clear away your stuff and then all of a sudden you're a different person. It takes time. Shifts have to occur. Shifts have to occur. So what else, my friends? What else is topical? Been talking with the topic of simplicity in our Mantara Transformation and Empowerment Support Community this month, the month of July, and talking about how we can really allow the process to be much more simple if we allow it to be. I know I just used allowance twice, but that's it. We tend to overcomplicate things because we're habituated to overcomplicating things, and when we stop overcomplicating things, then sure enough, things get more simple, which makes things easier to achieve in that it's not complicated anymore. There's nothing to figure out, but it still requires a commitment to get there. It still requires quote unquote effort, even though it's simple. It's easy because there's an ease to it, but still requiring an input of your energy, a consistency in your choices for you to get the results. Because if you just, I think a lot of people think that easy is just, they want it and it happens. And it's not the case. Hey, Sister Sandhya, how are you? Hey, Brother Andy, how are you? Let's chat with Matt. If anyone's got any questions, I'm sort of just free-forming at the moment, waiting for some input. Input from the audience. Normally someone writes something in beforehand that gets me off on one, but there is nothing in my bucket so far. So I'm talking about ease and simplicity, and this idea that we tend to overcomplicate things with our mind because we're looking for an excuse. Because if things were simple, and we've got an belief that if it's simple, then it should be easy, and we've got an idea that easy means quick, right? Which isn't the truth, right? A lot of things are easy, but it still takes time. But we have this, for some reason, a lot of people that I meet have this idea that if something's simple, then it should be quick and easy to achieve. And so if the process of transformation is simple, then what's wrong with them? Because they haven't achieved what they want yet, right? They haven't made the big breakthrough that they're looking for yet. And so that then they go looking for why it must be more complicated than this, right? Surely I'm missing something. There's something that I'm not getting. And so they go with their mind and overcomplicate the process, which gives them an excuse why they have not yet achieved what they're looking for. And unfortunately, now that they have this complication and this excuse, there is now a very real reason why they're not getting where they want to go. So if you can cut out of that behavior, allow yourself to maintain the idea that it's very simple, it just requires a consistency, and then it does get more easy, but it still takes time. And it still requires an input of your energy to keep showing up and doing the do, maintaining the consistency with your intention, maintaining the consistency with basically your spiritual practices, right? It requires practice. Practices take practice. You have to do it and do it and do it and do it, even though emotionally you probably don't want to, even though mentally you think, what's the point? It's not working, right? You're not seeing the outcome that you want yet. You're not seeing the outcome yet because you're going through a process of purification. Quite often when we maintain our intention for any length of time towards where we want you to go to, a more expansive version of ourselves, a more empowered version of freedom, a more authentic version of confidence, when we're holding our intention to go in that direction, what we tend to experience is the opposite. We tend to experience the arising of the energies that protest that, the energies that we've been holding in our field for who knows how long, that are against what we have just chosen to move into. And so there is this natural uprising of stuff to be cleared. And so from your mental perspective, you're going backwards because you've chosen to be more confident in yourself, and now all of your fears and your doubts have come to the surface. Well, that's not right, is it? It is right. I know. It doesn't feel right, but it's exactly how the process unfolds. And if you can maintain your commitment to going through the process and just allow it to be simple that it's going to take some time, simple that if I just keep showing up and breathing with a consistency to keep aligning with what I'm choosing, then you're going to get there. But unfortunately, what happens is we don't have the patience. We start to complicate it. We start looking for reasons why we haven't made better progress. And if you go looking for reasons, then you'll find them, right? And now you're concentrated, you're focused on these reasons, these problems, and what you focus on you feed, and what you feed grows stronger. So now all of a sudden the problems are getting stronger instead of the outcome. It's simple. Maintain your attention on the outcome you desire and maintain allowance for the process of purification, and you will get there. But unfortunately, most people take their attention off their outcome, bring their attention back to the problem, and now the problem's getting stronger in their energetic field and they're not releasing anything. I'm still waiting for a question. Maybe I'm talking too much. Yes, Sister Robin.
Listening to what you're talking about, can you address imposter syndrome? So you put yourself out there and then it's kind of what you're already saying, and then you just start to feel like, oh my gosh, they think I can do it. I can't do this. I'm tricking myself.
Awesome. So in case you didn't hear that, Robin just asked, can we address imposter syndrome, which is basically a label that we put on that very same experience. So you choose to put yourself out there and assume a role. So let's just say I'm choosing to be a coach now, and I'm choosing to coach something that I know a lot about, right? But I've never done it before. And so when you step forward into that role, all of a sudden your fears and your doubts come up because you've basically expanded. You have chosen to expand your energy into really owning something that you're passionate about and choosing to show up and do it. And that instigates a release of all of the energies that you've been carrying throughout all of time, all these past lifetimes where you've had all sorts of interesting experiences which you really don't want to know about, but it's happened. And there's residue left from those experiences. And so that arises now to basically say, whoa, be careful. This got you into trouble in 1642. Last time you chose to show up in this amount of power, you got, hauled out of your house, tried and burned at the stake or whatever, right? Not necessarily. But the point is we've all got into trouble for being too much before in our lifetimes and in this lifetime too. We've been very much told that it's much safer to stay small. And so imposter syndrome is basically when the fears and the doubts come up and our mind starts believing it. We start thinking that that's the truth rather than allowing ourselves to realize that it's just a natural part of the process of moving forward into a greater, more expansive version of ourselves. It's very real. It's very real. And I think, I actually know that people who are of our ilk, those of you who are watching this, people who are drawn to my services, people who are more mature as souls, and that's not a big fat rightness, it's just the truth of the truth. Those of us who are aligned as light workers, we care a lot, and we're really choosing to show up and do our best on the planet. We really want to help people. And for us, imposter syndrome is more real than for others. Hey, Sister Leslie. It's more real than for others. We are very, very keen to act in integrity. We're very, very keen to be open and honest. We're very, very keen, and it's important for us not to harm other people. And so with that level of importance around doing a good job, hey Sister Meg, when we choose to step up, say as a coach or as something else into a bigger role, then there's naturally a lot more at stake for us because it's important that we do a good job. And so imposter syndrome carries much more weight for us. So the fears and the doubts come up, and our mind is already quite stressed about the idea of us getting it right, of us doing the right thing for others, of us not harming another person, for us not being found out for being, a fake as well. It's important to us for various reasons, from various experiences we've had in deep past and whatnot. And so it can really take hold. Those of us who have the most integrity tend to carry the most fear around stepping up. Those of us who actually have the most integrity and the biggest hearts and actually have the greatest capacity to help others are generally the most fearful about stepping up and helping others. We see it time and time again. People who have not so much to offer are very willing to shout from the rooftops about how great their offers are. They're very willing to use all sorts of ploys and mechanisms to attract clientele into their services, even though their services are rather average. And so those of us with the most to give tend to be the most reluctant to advertise ourselves, which is not very good for society, right? It's part of the reason why society's in such a mess, is because imposter syndrome is so real for those who aren't actually imposters, and those who are imposters don't give a rat's ass. They just shout how good they are from the rooftops. And so we then, as people who do care a lot and who have got a lot to give, compare ourselves to those who are shouting from the rooftops, and that's another indication why we don't want to shout from the rooftops, because we look at people who are promoting themselves and we go, they're so shallow, got so little to give, I don't want to be like that. And so we withdraw our marketing even more, right? We're even more reluctant now to use what the market is expecting us to do, because while we might like the idea that if I just show up, in my authenticity, if I just let other people feel my resonance, then they're going to come and buy from me. It doesn't work, because the market is conditioned to needing to be sold to. There'll be a few people who come, of course, some more mature people, some people who are highly aligned with you, will seek you out and will find you, but the majority won't. Even if they are attracted to you, unless you're really putting your case forward for them to buy your product or your service, they're going to be confused, right? Because if you're not advertising it, then is it really for sale? People need that level of intellectual confidence in what you're doing, and they ascertain that by your advertising, basically your marketing, your ability to actually say and put forward what you're offering, right? Make a promise that you're here to help them do this, and you're here from integrity, and that's what you stand by. If you're not willing to say that, if you're not willing to put it out there, then people aren't generally going to be willing to purchase from you, and then you're going to feel even less than about yourself. So we could see it's very easy to get into a spiral where you keep contracting down on yourself because you don't feel confident enough to put any marketing out there. Therefore, very few people purchase from you. Then you start thinking, well, I mustn't be very good because no one's buying my stuff, right? All the time you have an amazing gift to offer others, but you're just not willing to step through your resistance to advertising it in a way, to marketing it in a way where others can legitimately feel that there's something there to purchase. And so it has to change, my friends. I'm here to help people change that because I'm here to help myself change that as well. I know this very firsthand because I've lived through this. I lived through this, right? Having a lot to give and not feeling like I'm good enough to give it, which is very, very sad for those who we have a lot to give to. So that's it. It's about really choosing to step through the resistance, even though it's uncomfortable, because that is going to give other people permission to step through their resistance, which is going to start a ground wave, grassroots movement of change across this planet, where the more spiritually aligned, or the more people who are aligned with the light workers will start to rise up through the ranks of our society and help change to occur. Because at the moment we've all sat back and we've thrown our hands in the air and we're hiding, and we've let others of less integrity run the show here on this planet, and it's a bit of a mess. It has to change. It has to change. And I'm not saying we all need to sort of, buy into politics right now. We don't all need to put our hand up to be the next governor or the next whatever. But it is time for us to step into our power and lead change from the grassroots up, because that's how society will change. I don't think we can wait for a big saviour to arrive and fix it from the external point of view, from the top down. I've got about 7 more minutes. Who's next? What's next? Anyone? Pick my brains, or pick my heart, or instigate some further insight. Got anything else to add, Robin?
No, that was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll take that. Mark for me. That was really good. I feel better about myself. Mum will be proud. Right? How many of us are still trying to please our parents? Not that there's anything wrong with pleasing our parents, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all, unless we're sacrificing ourselves to try and do so, unless we're holding a perception about what our parents want from us, which is not really the truth to start with, and we're trying to turn ourselves inside out to meet that perception, right? It's an interesting game. It's very, very easy to slip into that, where we're looking for, because of our own low self-worth issues, right? Because we're still got these indoctrinations in our field from other times when we were basically persecuted and put down and made a spectacle of, because we were aligning with the light in times where dark authoritarian rule really had an iron grip on the planet and the society. We've been implanted with beliefs that we're not good enough. And so now we still feel these vibrations of not good enough bouncing around in our field, and we're trying to overcome them by proving ourselves. So we get into proving behavior, people-pleasing behavior. And we see this time and time again. Many of the great performers, many of the great athletes, many of the great businessmen have driven themselves into greatness out of the state of not being good enough to start with, right? Time and time again, you watch these documentaries about these amazing performers, and they are full of insecurities in themselves in their real life. And then they use this persona on stage to overcome that in a way. But of course, it's only a persona and it's not really them. And so they're living this dualistic life that can quite often lead them into very destructive behaviors, which is sad. The point is, many of us have greatness within us, and there's many other ways to bring that greatness out other than trying to or needing to prove ourselves as good enough, right? It's not the most effective pathway forward. You are going to much better shine out in the world when you come from a space of inherently feeling good enough about yourself, and then allow that to ripple out into the world from a space of confidence and authenticity, rather than needing to try and prove yourself by jumping through all of the hoops and becoming great at whatever you've chosen to become great at. Brother Andy, great topics. Parents, yes, I relate to what is simple is not necessarily easy. As for imposter syndrome, I so hear you. Feel it too, brother. Well done, Andy. And, you're a great great inspiration in someone who has stepped through a lot of resistance and is choosing to step up and market yourself in an aligned and integral way. Integral as in being coming from integrity. And it's not easy in today's marketplace, but it's definitely worth it. And if we trust that, even though it's goes against the grain, and we choose to bring integrity into our marketing, we choose to bring ourself and our own light and let ourselves be seen in authenticity in our own marketing, then it pays dividends, because we will naturally attract people who are looking for that depth from us. It's a real art to step into playing the game and marketing ourselves without putting a veneer over us and just being that marketer, with actually allowing ourselves to market our services from the space of who we are, letting people see us as opposed to just trying to advertise our services. And I think, Andy, you do a pretty good job at that. And of course, with all of us, there's room for improvement. We're all peeling away layers that we hide behind and become more and more transparent in offering our services. But it's a process, and we just need to start somewhere. And if we're holding the intention to keep going in that direction, then we will. And so hats off to you, brother, and keep on keeping on. Empower Yoga. If you're in Wellington, in town, looking for a yoga studio, then look up Empower and go and see Andy and Kim. There you go. You get a plug. And if you're up the Kapiti Coast, you're looking for yoga, then come and see Marie and I at Kapiti Yoga down at Marine Gardens in Raumati. Raumati Beach. Anyway, Sister Meg, Matt, I just wanted to share how powerful joining this group has been for me since January. The synchronicity and flow and release and transformation have been profound. At some point, I will do my best to put some specifics into writing for you. That'd be awesome, Sister Meg. I love getting testimonials, and I'm not very good at asking for them. So thank you for offering it. If you're wondering what Meg's talking about, she's talking about the Mantara Transformation and Empowerment Support Community. It is only $33 New Zealand per month. That's about 25 US. For those of you who can align better with that currency and work out what your own currency might be. It comes with a ton of value and a ton of energetic support and community support. So if you're interested in that, then look it up. It's on the website again, mantara.nz, under Training with Mantara. It's the first option. Or you can just write to me or just put a comment in this thing that you're interested in the transformation group and I'll send you a link. You are welcome, brother Andy. That's pretty much it, my friends. Pretty much it. If anyone's very quick, you can pop something in. I will have a sip of water. I've got like 1 minute. I know I was 2 minutes late getting on, so there's basically 3 minutes of chat with Matt. Doing my best to maintain time, whatever. I don't like to use the word constraints, but discipline with time is always an interesting dance. Awesome, friends. So much love to you all. I will speak to you again at this same time next week. I know it's a bit later than what I normally run Chat with Matt, but I'm teaching yoga while Marie is away. She's in Vietnam at the moment, scoping out a retreat venue for next year, for 2020, after just hosting a yoga retreat over in Thailand at the sanctuary there in Koh Samui. So yeah, I'm busy and she's busy and life's busy, but that's fun, right? So speak to you again next week. If you have any questions between now and then, you can always post them somewhere, either in the Mantara Big Love and Big Love, whatever it's called, community group, or you can just send me a private message, a direct message, and or send me an email for that matter, mantara@mantara.nz. Happy to help you as best we can. Much love. Bye for now, my friends. Namaste. Take it easy.